Guys, so on this section, everybody has this worksheet already. On this section, we're going to be solving for certain variables. So the way they're going to ask you, I'm not going to do number one, that's too easy. I want to jump to number two. It says to solve for the variable w, okay? So this part over here is just what they're telling you to solve for. They're telling you to solve for w. So as you can see, w is right here. It is clearly on the left side of the equal sign, okay? So you need to get w by itself. So this is w, this is 6 in front of w, this is the guy that's all by himself, so you get rid of the y first. Let's get rid of the minus y by doing the opposite plus y. And what you do to one side, you do to the other side. So what's left over on the left side, the 6w, bring down the equal sign. Now let me ask you this, guys. Could you actually add 2z plus y? No, you can't. They're not like terms. Now if it were a 2y plus y, yeah, that would be 3y. But it's 2z plus y. You can't do that. So let's just rewrite it. 2z plus y. Now I almost have w by itself. Since they're asking us to solve for w, I need to continue with this and get rid of the 6 by dividing by 6 and dividing the other side by 6. Now you could do the whole thing by 6 or each one by 6, and either one would be good. So your final answer, w equals, I would leave it all together on this one, 2z plus y over 6. And that's your final answer for number 2. Now, you could separate it. I'm not sure. Do me a favor, flip it over and tell me, do they separate it or keep it?
No,
They keep it like that? Now, let me tell you, just in case we're doing a, let's say, multiple choice final exam, and you don't see this on your multiple choice, they might write it like this. W equals, and when they split it, the 26z plus y over 6, the 26 could be reduced to 1/3. So your final answer that you could see on a multiple choice test could be w equals 1/3 z plus 1/6 y. That could be an answer on a multiple choice test, but we're going to leave it as one fraction, which is a whole lot easier to do. Let's move on to, let's go for number 4. Why not? So what do we want to solve for? S. Okay, so what am I going to do? I need to get it by itself. So what do I start doing to get this guy by itself? Plus 5g. All right. So let's go plus 5g. Cancel it out. What you do to one side, do to the other. Plus 5g. So that's what? 1gu, right? No, you can't combine it. So you're just going to rewrite it. So let's rewrite the whole thing. We have 9s left over. We have the equal sign. And this we're just going to simply rewrite it as negative 4u plus 5g. What would I do for my final step? Divide by 9. And divide everything by 9. I guess the only time I would separate these guys, is if this were like a 18u over 9, then you could cancel it out when you separate it. And if this were like a 36g, then you could cancel both of them when you separate the 9 to each one. But in this case, neither the 4 nor the 5 are divisible by 9, so I want to leave it together as my final answer. S equals negative 4u plus 5g over 9. Ta-da, piece of cake. Moving on, let's do number 6 here. I want to solve for what? X, okay. So let's get x by itself on one side of the equal sign. So where's the x at? The left side or the right side of the equal sign? It's on the right side. Here's the equal sign. It's definitely on the right side. I need to get it by itself. I don't want the k. I don't want the minus t. What do I get rid of first? How do I get rid of the minus t? Add t. That's right. That'll cancel it out. What you do to one side, do to the other side. Add t over here. You can't really add p's and t's, right? If it were 2p plus one more p, that'd be 3p. But it's not a p, it's a t. So we're just going to rewrite it. 2p plus t equals kx. All right. I'm solving for x, so I need to get rid of that k. What do? Divide by k. Divide by k. Cancel, cancel. And guess what? I'm done. X equals, I'll just circle it. 2p plus t, all divided by k. And it's probably better to write the x on this side, especially on tomorrow's quiz. So this section, guys, is really, I think, even way easier. It looks complicated because there's a lot of letters, a lot of variables. But I think it's way easier because back when we used to solve equations before, we would have to distribute, combine like terms, do a lot of math. Right here, we're not really doing much. We're just solving. We're getting the variable by itself on one side. Let's jump to number 8. I want to solve for h. Okay, so what do I do first?
Subtract g.
Subtract g. Boom. Subtract g, which you do to one side, do to the other. D, take away g. You can't do it, just rewrite it. So let's rewrite it. You have a 2/5 h equals d minus g. And then what?
Multiply by 5.
Multiply by 5, because we have this fraction. We don't like fractions. We don't even like this division of 5. So let's get rid of it by doing the opposite. So to get rid of the division of 5, we're going to multiply by 5. And we know that that cancels out. 5 on top, 5 on the bottom cancels out. However, what you do to one side, you do to the other, right? Now, on the other side, you really do have two terms. You have one term that's a d and another one that's a minus g. So you need to multiply both terms by 5. Keep that in mind. Again, let me reiterate that rule. Whenever you want to get rid of a fraction, you need to multiply everything by the denominator. So our new equation will be 2h equals 5 times d is 5d, and 5 times g is 5g. And for my final step on solving for h, I need to divide by 2 and divide by 2. I might as well write it in black, the whole thing by 2. That way I could just circle it and say that's my answer. H is equal to 5d minus 5g, all divided by 2. And if you flip the paper over, you should see that that's the correct answer. Now, of course, you could separate it. You could write this as an answer that says 5/2 d minus 5/2 g. That's also another option where you take that denominator and split them. But I don't see the purpose in that. Moving on to number 10. Hopefully everybody's keeping up here. So I want to solve for what? A once again. So I'm going to get rid of the what? Q. Add Q. Add Q. That reminds me of a joke. Hey guys, what's 5Q plus 5Q? 5Q plus 5Q. Just tell me. It's not part of this problem. 10Q. You're welcome. You get? That's. It's not funny, huh? Okay. 10Q. You're welcome. All right, forget it. Bad joke. Anyway, so that cancels. You have 3/4a equals k plus q, and you want to solve for a, so you want to get rid of that 3/4. We're going to multiply. We're going to multiply everything by the denominator of the fraction that we want to get rid of. Times 4 cancels. Times 4 times 4 everything. You will have 3a equals 4k plus 4q, and then we get the a by itself by dividing by 3 and dividing everything by 3. Now you could divide one thing at a time by 3, but like I said, in this case you can't really simplify it if you separate that 3. So we're just going to leave it as a equals 4k plus 4q over 3. Number 12, going for all the even ones, I guess. I need to solve for b. Ay, ay, ay. That one looks more fun. What do? Guys, remember, yes, I want this b by itself, so I want to first of all get rid of this divided by 2. You get rid of something by doing the opposite, put times 2. Now, you're not going to actually be multiplying, all right? All you're doing is putting the times 2 so it could cancel. And of course, what you do to one side of the equation, you do to the other. So you need to multiply this c, you need to multiply it by 2 also. So let me rewrite my equation. It's now easy to see, or easy to do. 3b minus 4 equals 2c. So we want to solve for b. So I'm going to get rid of the minus 4 by going plus 4 and plus 4. And of course, you can't add letters and numbers, so you're just going to rewrite it. 3b equals 2c plus 4. And now your final step is to divide by 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, now, if this is something that you could do, look, I'll erase this right now, right? You could divide everything by 3, cancel this out, and that would be your answer. B equals 2/3 C plus 4/3. But since the 2/3 you can't reduce it, and the 4/3 you can't reduce it, it's almost pointless to put the division on each one of them. It's probably better to just write it all as divided by 3. It looks nicer. So your answer is B equals 2C plus 4 all divided by 3. Now again, if this were a 6, then yeah, I would put the divided by 3 and the divided by 3 on each of them if it were a 6, because 6 divided by 3 is 2. So it all depends if you could actually divide or not. If you can't divide, you might as well put it all over that denominator. If you could divide, you might as well split it and divide, make it look nicer. Let's move on to number 14. Edith? I want to get L by itself. What do I do? Okay, I have a plus y, so I need to get the... Okay, so I want to subtract y. Oh, wait a minute. L's on both sides. I didn't see that. Interesting. So if I want to solve for L, you can't have L's on both sides, so what should we do first? Get rid of one of those L's, right? Which L do you want to get rid of? Doesn't really matter. There's many roads to the same place. You want to get rid of the 3L or the 5L? Okay, let's get rid of the 3L. Somebody said that. So we got minus 3L. That'll cancel it out. It looks like a 31. Minus 3L. And then what you do to one side, do to the other. Minus 3L. So our new equation will be y equals 5 plus 2L. So we almost have L by itself. We just need to get rid of the 5 and then the 2. So I'm going to subtract 5 and subtract 5, and I'm going to rewrite it. It's going to be y minus 5 equals 2L. So for my final step, I'm going to divide by 2 here and divide everything by 2 over here. So my answer is L equals this stuff right here. And I might as well put the L equals over here. L equals, there's my final answer. L equals y minus 5 over 2. Of course, you could also write it like this. L equals y over 2 minus 5 over 2. This is the same exact answer, just written differently. And when you're taking multiple choice tests like the final, it's important to know that this is the same as this. So both of these guys are the same. I hope that was enough help. I guess for homework, let's do all the odd ones. Go for it.